Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. FPL Consult here, and today we're going to do the Game Week 13 team selection video. So as usual, we're going to go through how I did for Game Week 12, talk a little bit about my transfer plans, captaincy, and then review my final team. So if you guys do enjoy the video, please give it a like and also subscribe as well if you are new around here. We're trying to hit 3,000 subscribers, so it'd be really great if you guys can help me get there. Right, so for Game Week 12, very quickly, there are still 2 more games to go. I still have Andreas and Mitrovic to play as well, right? But because of the tight deadline, I'm going to record this now, right? And as of now, I am standing on a green arrow, right? 1.04 million in the world, so I'm just a couple of points, maybe 2 to 3 points shy of being in the top 1 mil, so I'm pretty happy with that. The aim is, of course, to hit the top 500k bracket before the World Cup. So I have about 4 more game weeks to do that. Hopefully, my transfer moves and my future plans for my team up till the World Cup at least, right, help me get there. So for game week 12, I got 45 points as it stands, right, without Andreas and Mitrovic, and 657 points total, right, of course subject to the Andreas and Mitrovic points, right. So I'm pretty happy with how I did. I got a couple of clean sheet points mainly, and that's kind of what really helped me, right? Dunk, Pope, and Trippier all coming up really good as well. Trippier, of course, with the 3 bonus points, so really massive there. We already knew Trippier was probably someone that is going to rack up all those bonus points because of how involved he is in chance creation as well. So apart from that, not really much returns apart from Zaha, who did really well, right? I brought him in on a hit for my game week 9 moves, right? So I'm happy that he's paying off now. So Zaha 8 points, 1 bonus point, and also he scored, right? So I'm pretty happy with that. Salah blanking, I think he had a couple of chances here and there, but because Nunes was playing, right, so Salah occupied kind of the wing position. He kind of hugged the touchline a little bit more, right? But after that, when Nunes was subbed off at around 60th minute, that's where Salah came into the center again, and that's where he got a couple of chances as well. So I think moving forward, we're gonna see that kind of rotation going on, where it's possible Nunes will start the games, but thereafter, if they really need to win the game, they probably swap. They take Nunes out, and then Salah will go up front, straight through the middle again. That's where you want him, right? So it's looking like Liverpool would employ this. So moving forward, I think we do have to be a little bit cautious about captaining Salah as well, right? Not to say that he won't get goals. I think whether or not he plays on the wing, he did get a couple of chances, but obviously we will want him more central, right? So that kind of brings down his appeal as a captain option moving forward as well. But I am still happy to have him in my team. And then of course TROSSARD, brought him in for a 1 week punt. Didn't pay off, but he hit the crossbar, a couple of chances, great chances from Brighton as well. So they're pretty unlucky not to score, right? They really outperformed Nottingham Forest. So I guess kind of unlucky not to get a return from TROSSARD, but he's going straight out of my team in game week 13, right? So this is how I did, right? Let's take a look at my transfer plans for game week 13. So for game week 13, pretty straightforward. I'm going to do TROSSARD to FODEN. Now, it was between FODEN and Saka and whether I actually wanted to bring both in at the same time and take a hit, but I've decided to just stick with one, right? And I'll just be doing TROSSARD to FODEN. Now, when it was a head-to-head battle between Saka and FODEN, I feel kind of comes off a little bit better because of his fixtures. Now, 3 out of 4 of the next games, right, from game week 13 to 16, FODEN has home games and they're all against pretty easy opponents. So I'm expecting him to really bang there. But as for Saka, yes, I know he's on penalties, but he does have Chelsea and Wolves away in game week 15 and 16. Now, I don't think those are particularly easy fixtures. Of course, the upcoming ones in 13 and 14, like Southampton and Nottingham Forest, those are pretty easy. But over the course of the next 4 game weeks, I think FODEN will still outscore Saka, right? So another consideration as well is if I bring Saka in, it would be for Zaha, right? And over the course of the 4 game weeks, Zaha does have the better fixtures than Saka, right? So that's why I'm going to take a chance on Zaha. I keep him, right? I'm not going to bring Saka in, and then I'll just go for TROSSARD out, and I'll bring FODEN, right? So that leaves me with 1.9 in the bank. I do have a couple of moves planned moving forward as well, but we'll take it one step at a time, right? And game week 13, this will be the transfer move. So guys, before we get on with the video, I just want to give a massive shout out to Sorare, who's sponsoring today's video. Sorare is one of the fastest growing fantasy football platforms in the world. It basically combines fantasy football with trading cards, so you can think of it as a mix of FPL, FIFA and Football Manager. Every week you get to build up the best team, set your captain, and when that team performs well in real life, you win prizes like real money or valuable trading cards which you can keep to build a stronger team or trade on the marketplace. They're basically non-fungible tokens and you can sell them on the market to turn a profit. I've started playing for a while now and I've got to say guys, it's really cool and exciting to play this alongside FPL, especially since it is so similar. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in and if you want to support the channel, click the first link in the description to sign up for an account and get a free valuable card worth about up to 50 euros after 5 card purchases. If you guys do sign up, let me know down in the comments below what you think of the game. I really enjoy it and I hope you guys do too. So bringing Foden in, this is how the team looks like for game week 13. Right, I'm going to start Ward in goal instead of Pope because I wouldn't want to double up on Newcastle defense when they're playing Spurs away. Right, so Ward in goal plays Wolves away. I think there's a good chance he can keep a clean sheet there. Right, and then there's Trippier, Zuma, and Cancelo as my backline. Now Zuma and Cancelo have really good fixtures as well, so I'm hoping they can keep some clean sheets there. Right, in the midfield we have Zaha, Martinelli, Foden, and Salah. Now if I was on a wild card, this midfield will be very similar to what I would start out with, right? Of course, except that I would have Saka for Zaha if I was on a wild card, right? But given that I already have Zaha in my team, I'm not keen on taking a hit to bring Zaha out and bring Saka in. So therefore, I'm going to keep him, right? As I mentioned just now as well, I do think that over the next few game weeks, Zaha could do quite well. So we're going to go with this midfield four, and up front we have Costa, Haaland and Mitrovic. Now ideally over the past 2 game weeks I would have preferred Solanke for his returns, right? But in game week 13 Solanke has West Ham away, right? So I wouldn't think that Solanke would return there, and Costa does have the better fixture, and that's kind of why I did go for Costa instead, right? He's probably going to stay in my team for maybe 1 or 2 more game weeks before I swap him out, right? So hopefully Leicester at home, Leicester's defense hasn't been the best, right? But even so, Wolves haven't been creating lots of chances. So take a chance on Costa here. If he does return, he is a mega differential for me. Hopefully he can, right, repay the faith that I have in him, right? But for now, this is how the team would look like in game week 13, and let's now take a look at the captaincy rubrics. So for game week 13, this is how the captaincy rubrics look like. There are quite a couple of considerations here because quite a number of teams have good fixtures, right? Especially the ones that we would want to bang like Liverpool, Man City and Arsenal, right? So according to their scores, this is how the players have been arranged, right? So Haaland, Darwin Núñez of course, then Kane, Salah, Jesus, Saka, Tony, Mitrovic and Bowen, all in this order, right? That's how their scores fare. So Haaland, he has a score of 77 points, right? That's an aggregate of all their individual stats and also team stats, right? So something really interesting is that Darwin is actually very high up, right? Higher up than Salah, right? And I think that has to do with how many chances he's been getting when he plays in that central role. Now it is looking like Darwin Núñez would probably start the next few games in that central position because Jota is no longer available. So when that happens, Darwin Núñez can't play on the wing, right? Firmino also can't play on the wing, so they're pretty stuck, right? And Salah will probably have to occupy that right wing. On the left wing, they probably have Carvalho, right? So Firmino and Núñez just make sense to both play in the center, and that leaves no space for Salah, right? Hopefully he can or Klopp can find some ways to maybe play 2 up top, right? But for now, it's definitely looking like Salah would still occupy the right wing, especially looking at how they lined up against West Ham. Now, there's every chance that during the course of the game, like the West Ham game, in the 60th minute, Darwin Núñez could come out and then Salah could come central as well. But I think just by virtue of the fact that Núñez is the one occupying that central role, right? That's why his numbers are a lot better. He's getting more chances. He's closer to the goal. He did get a couple of good chances, hit the post against West Ham as well, obviously scored that header from Simicast's cross. So that's probably why he is kind of second on this list, and then followed by Kane. Kane has been pretty consistent. He blanked against Manchester United, but that is only his second blank of the season, and for 12 game weeks that is a really good score, right? A really consistent score, so that's why he's there as well. His numbers are pretty good, right? And then followed by Salah, right? Jesus and Saka are pretty much further down. Southampton away, Southampton, I would say that they haven't been conceding a lot of goals, right? But we know Arsenal are pretty good, right? They're quite good as an attack, so there's every chance that they could get a couple of goals there, but I wouldn't think it would be like, 3-0, 4-0, such as the Liverpool against Nottingham Forest game or the Manchester City versus Brighton game, right? Those are pretty much games that I would think would be more high scoring, right? And then at the bottom, those are the differential captains there, Tony, Mitrovic, and Bowen in that order, right? So the Rubrics has had a success rate of 9 out of 11 game weeks now, right? So it's pretty consistent, right? And I'm going to stick with it this week. I'm going to go for Haaland as my captain. So putting the captain's armband on Haaland and the vice-captain's armband on Salah, this is how the team would look like. Right, I'm pretty happy with this team. I think the fixtures are all pretty good. Right, only Tottenham away for Trippier is the tough fixture, but I would feel that, because he is so attacking, he's on all set pieces as well. I do think even if he doesn't keep a clean sheet, he could return there. So I'm expecting big things from this team. Right, we are at just shy of 1 mil now. Of course, I am recording this just before the last 2 games of game week 12, right? But I do think that we are closing in on that top 1 mil spot, and I would ideally hope that this game week 13 team can just boost me up maybe 800k. I will be pretty happy with that, right? And the ranks are pretty tight now. The ranks are still pretty tight. There are still big scores from you in maybe one game week, and you can jump a couple of 100,000 places. So I'm not too worried. I'm pretty happy with the team now, and the plans moving forward I will share in my game week 14 transfer plans. But for now, this is it for the video. Right, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys are doing with your teams as well. Who are you bringing in? Are you tempted by Foden? Are you tempted by Saka? You bring both of them in, right? And who are you captaining? Right, let me know down in the comments below. But for now, that's it, and I will see you guys in another video very soon. Bye bye.